Blah, blah, blah,
Blah, blah, blah, blah.
Dude, this would be really nice, man, when it's nighttime.
These lights are on all the time, man.
Yeah.
Again, back in the days, these guys would own this park, man. We're talking, forget about it. This was like...
Smoking cigars and shit.
You know, these guys would be out here 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning in their pajamas playing bocce ball. You would have, like, Ferraris and the Mercedes-Benz parked up. The Parks Department used to have big black grills, put them in the parks. The guys would go to the other parks, bring the big black grills here and line them up. You know,
they would?
Sausage and peppers, man. It was an interesting time. It was all mafia.
That makes me sad that it's not happening still.
Well, we have a lot of more policing now.
Yeah.
That they were not paid off. If you wanted to go from that side to the other side, we would like cross the street and not look in this direction.
Really?
Well, you know, growing up watching The Godfather or
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas and things like that, we would, you know, as kids, you know, let's look on that side. But
you didn't want to like come over here and like try to get a job somehow or something like that?
No.
Me, I watch Goodfellas and I think, I'm going to go over there and like somehow become friends with them.
Make your
and
way
then work
up,
at the cab stand.
Yeah.
You know?
And
like
make your way up.
Yeah, make my way up.
And,
do
know.
murder. You know? The NSA better not be tapping my calls.
1, 2, 3. Vet for benzo.com. Vet for benzo.com. Vet for benzo.com. Vet for benzo.com.
Hello, I'm Robert Piccirillo, but my nom de plume is Bobby Pickles, and this is episode 32 of the Bobby Pickles podcast. My guest today is Government and Corporation Procurement Specialist Nelson Nigel. Nelson, what exactly is a procurement specialist? What is procurement?
Pickles. Procurement is essentially the purchasing process. It's a way corporations and public bodies buy goods and services from businesses.
And you're a specialist on this kind of thing, correct?
Yes.
So for all our entrepreneurs out there, if you're interested in suckling off the teat of corporate America, meet Nelson Nigel.
Hello, I'm Nelson Nigel. What's your name? Outstanding. Welcome to the Bobby Pickles podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Bobby Pickles podcast. He always says, "That's me." With that look on his face, he'll talk about anything. Tattoos, t-shirts, politics, history, and hot sauce on everything. Bobby Pickles. Pop culture, documentaries, conspiracy theories, sarcasm, and beer. It's a conversation. Start listening, cause we're all here. Bobby Pickles podcast. That's me.
That's me, Bobby Pickles, and today I'm podcasting from William F. Moore Park, located in Corona, Queens. But there's another name for this park, isn't that correct, Nelson?
Spaghetti Park.
Spaghetti Park. Why do they call it Spaghetti Park?
Forget about it.
Is that why? Is that like
growing up in Corona, forget about it. This place was extraordinary.
How old are you, if I may ask?
34.
Okay, so you're like my age. I'm 33. Yes. Same generation, everything like that.
Yes.
Growing up in New York was completely different than it was today, right?
Oh, yes.
And this is like what? This is where all the Goombas hung out or something like that? This is where...
well, right in front of you see this is a genuine...
bocce court.
Yes, the bocce court for actual bocce ball. I think this may be the only place in New York City that may have something like this.
They still play all the time, or...
They were just playing 20 minutes ago.
Oh, my God. I wish they started up again. It's awesome.
Yes.
Are you from around this neighborhood?
Yes, a few blocks down.
A few blocks down?
Yes.
Yeah? I always ask my guests to meet me somewhere that's either iconic or important to them in some way. So why did you choose to meet me here today at Spaghetti Park?
Well, I'm from Corona.
Uh-huh.
This is what I know. And this place has a lot of history.
It does?
If you look behind you, that's the world-famous Parkside restaurant, man.
Okay. Tell me about the Parkside. I'm from Florida originally. What's the deal with it?
It's world-famous.
I think my buddy told me about it. Like, if you go there, you'll see, like straight up...
Yes.
Mobbed up guys.
Yes, yeah. Back in the days, that was all.
But still, though, right? To an extent? Yeah,
I would think so.
I think that's what yeah, that's right. That was the restaurant he said. Go there, and he said he just like, sat there and, like, cheesed out or whatever. He was, like, looking around, going, wow, this is like the movies or something like that.
And now, you see this bocce court here.
Mm-hmm.
It looks normal. The park is normal. But growing up, trust me, if you weren't within that little...
Yeah? Well, it's awesome being here and be able to conduct a podcast here, you know?
And actually, think about the Macy's parade, the fireworks.
Mm-hmm.
This park, back in the days, forget about it.
Yeah?
These guys would have rockets going in every direction from this park. And this park used to have something that could literally rival.
That makes a lot of sense. You ever been to Italy at all?
No.
No? I have family in Italy, and I go like for Christmas.
So you can relate to this.
Yeah. But I was there for New Year's one year, and they were blowing up the biggest bombs. It's crazy. Like, Italians are nuts on bombs.
Oh.
They are. So it makes perfect sense.
Nuts on bombs.
They're fucking crazy when it comes to bombs, man. They make like their own homemade fireworks. That's probably what was going on over here.
How about this?
What?
Stores used to go off on bombs in this area.
Oh, really?
Well, come on.
How much has it changed since then, since back in the day?
It's changed a lot. If you could look around you, lots of Hispanic stores, lots of Hispanic people. Growing up, this area was entirely of Italian immigrants.
Really?
Obvious. This area was flooded with Italian
Can you
immigrants.
speak Italian at all?
No.
Like, having grown up around a lot of...
Pizza.
Do you have a lot of friends that are Italian?
Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And I see you have your Italian Totti shirt.
Yes.
That's right. You got the
Azzurri,
Totti jersey.
2006.
Awesome. So talk to me about procurement. Your background was in anthropology, correct?
My
Your
college
degree was?
College degree was in cultural anthropology, my first degree, and I moved on to more public administration, construction management.
How did you get into construction from anthropology? Out of college, that's the first thing you started doing? You got into...
No, it took time. I wanted to be a developer and put up buildings, and after I put up my first building and I lost a lot of money, I just wanted to use my background and go into something with less risk.
What do you mean? What happened? You were in like the real estate stuff, like the whole real estate?
2008.
2008?
2008, everything went
Yeah.
haywire. My cousin and I, we built our own eight-unit building in the Bronx.
Really?
From scratch, oh yeah. And I was working on a 16-unit after that. So imagine if I had a 16-unit, I would have my own cement shoes in the East River.
So, is your credit fucked because of that? I'll tell you straight up. I relate to you on that. I got caught up in 2008 too. You know, I owned houses in Florida and stuff. People were flipping them and everything like that. And I had a house foreclosed on me. It sucks.
You did?
Yeah. So, but after 2008 happened, then what happened?
I became a yellow cab driver.
You did?
I did.
Okay.
Part of my story. It was wonderful, I'll tell you that.
It was?
Oh, well, I studied cultural anthropology and the people of New York. And, I'm from New York and all of this design and construction background.
Talk about anthropology. What other way to study people and
it's like a
How many-
yellow cab ethnography. How's that?
how many people get in the cab and then instantly start asking you stupid, idiotic, bonehead questions about yourself and how you got here, like tourists,
Oh yeah,
It's always the same
especially
conversation.
When you have a mohawk, right?
Yeah, I got somewhat of a mohawk too, man.
I know.
I got
like
a little.
it.
Yeah, I got one going. Well, how long you been rocking the mohawk for?
I've been rocking it for a few years.
Yeah. Why'd you decide to do the mohawk?
Life is short.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Dude, I was in Staten Island yesterday, and I was with this girl that I haven't really hung out with a lot, and I was just trying to get to know her. We're at a bar, and this fucking asshole goes, "Hey, man, why do you put your hair up like that? Is it because you're, trying to cover a baldness?" I swear to God, he said that to me.
Really?
Yeah. And actually, I have been, on the sides right here. It has been, but I didn't, do it, consciously because of that or anything like that, you know? And I was like, you motherfucker.
How do you cover up baldness?
I don't
with a
know. I
mohawk?
guess by putting it, I don't know. But then, yeah, he totally, screwed up my game, man. He was just trying to fuck with me because I was, being a hater
Yeah.
or whatever. So that was not your case, right? You weren't doing it to cover a
No,
baldness
I
or anything. Okay. You like punk rock music?
I like all sorts of music.
All sorts of
man.
music?
But I do, part of my daily lifestyle, I listen to Russian classical all day long. So,
Russian classical?
Yes.
What exactly is that?
Russian classical music is awesome. Awesome classical music, man.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Listen to that shit makes you more intelligent, right? They say.
About that. Well, you know what?
You get your girl pregnant or something like that. Play some Russian classical
Russian
music,
classical-
right?
Well, it's like ballet music.
Kids gonna pop out of genius. It is?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Nutcracker. If
Yeah?
You know that.
You
Well,
like-
that's Tchaikovsky. Nutcracker, Swan Lake.
How'd you get into the Russian classical
I
music?
date a lot of Russian women.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You ever had a Russian breakfast?
Russian breakfast?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like fish or something like that, right? Like
Yeah.
salted fish.
Yeah.
I don't know. They have it in like Sheepshead Bay and stuff like that.
I used to live out there.
Really?
Well, with the girls.
Yeah. Man, that's a good spot.
Sheepshead Bay, Brighton Beach, actually.
Russian women and Polish women are gorgeous. But the
But
guys
Polish?
look like shit. No, I have like Polish friends or whatever. I always break their balls over that, yeah. But the women are gorgeous,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Polish
so,
women are in Greenpoint. The Russian are in Brighton Beach.
You spent some time over in Greenpoint?
Well, I've driven over there.
Okay. But you never...
Famous Polish club called Europa.
Europa?
Oh, yeah.
I went to one like last week, the Warsaw.
The Warsaw? Where is that at?
What's that?
Europa's a great place.
Oh, you know it?
I saw a body count in Sub-Zero there about 5 years ago.
Sweet.
Thanks a lot, Tony. You scum douche. That was just Tony, my production assistant. Get the fuck out of here, Tony. Go take a walk.
Die in a fire.
Come back in 30 minutes. All right?
Go fuck yourself.
Anyway, let's get serious now.
Okay.
Government and corporate procurement, right? It's like how to attain government contracts, how to supply different companies with your product, right?
Yes.
So, okay, how did you get into that? Tell me about it, all that stuff.
Well, I wanted to get involved in something with less risk, less regulation, less workman's compensation, less OSHA, less employees, and technology is where to go. And because I have a background in public administration and purchasing and knowing how corporations and the government buys its goods and services, I just started a website, hired an engineer, an operating officer, and a couple other folks, and we created our team. And right now we're just producing content, free content for the most part, on how to get contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And there is zillions and quadrillions of dollars out there within government procurement and even corporation procurement to...
Don't they give away allocate 23% or something like that for their budget to private companies?
Women and minorities.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm a business owner or whatever, right?
Mm.
What kind of businesses? Anything?
Rocket ships to
T-shirts?
Sandals, T-shirts.
How about T-shirts?
Think about selling T-shirts.
I make T-shirts.
Yeah,
That's what I do.
You make your T-shirts. Think about
Fat
selling...
Enzo T-shirts.
Think about selling your T-shirts
Okay.
to the U.S. Navy or the U.S. Army troops abroad.
Right.
If there's 50,000 troops abroad, then each person has one shirt.
Want to do custom T-shirts for them or something like that, right? As Army, whatever
not?
on there. Sure. Okay, so what do I do?
Sell that. Well, establish your business.
Mm-hmm. Done.
Research who your buyer is.
Yes.
If it's the U.S. Army or if it's the National Guard, etc.
Okay.
Know who the administration is, who's the purchasing.
Who's the gatekeeper?
department. Yes, the gatekeeper.
Get into the gatekeeper, right?
Get certified. You would want to be certified with your state or with the government or with your city, whatever agency, whoever your purchaser is. And, of course, have a business plan. How's that?
Okay.
It starts with a business plan. So you have to have a business plan and know everything about your company. And you have to go to your purchaser with a legitimate business, knowing that they're going to ask you all sorts of questions about your business. And they're going to say, hey, Pickles, who's your bank? How much money do you have behind you? In case you cannot fulfill this job, how
Right.
do we know that we will be reimbursed? Who is insuring you? Who is bonding this job for me? And the bond is a sort of insurance that kind of insures the purchaser in case you default on a job. So if you cannot produce 50,000 T-shirts within, say, a month, as indicated in the contract,
Then you're fucked, basically.
well, you are, and they are too, because remember, they selected you, and you made a contractual agreement to produce 50,000 T-shirts.
I should get into this. I want to do this.
You should. There's lots of money in it. If you have a business plan and you know who your purchaser is, you could sell lots of goods and services. It doesn't matter what. It could be flags to frying pans to pots and pans. Forget about it. The opportunity is there.
All right. So what would be step one? I mean, I have all that stuff. In business plan, whatever. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I have a place to manufacture everything. We could do that many
Wonderful.
T-shirts. What do I do then? And then I gotta research and find out who the gatekeeper person is and go talk to them. Okay.
Well, not necessarily, because, okay, let me rephrase. You have federal agencies, which would be like the Army.
Mm-hmm.
You have state agencies, which could be Department of...
Children and families, something, whatever. There's any
Yes.
kind of, yeah.
You have city agencies.
Right.
You have municipal agencies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, this park that we're in, this is maintained, and this is part of the New York City Department of Parks and Recreation.
Okay.
They are the ones who make sure that these lights are on, the trees are well groomed, that it's clean, etc. Right? Say you want to make T-shirts for bocce ball.
Right.
For bocce.
I do want to do that.
Right?
Right.
So you would come to the Parks Department and say, hey, how many Italian festivals do you guys oversee per year? Because remember, the festivals go through the Parks Department.
They have a lot of Italian
Right?
festivals? How many do they have?
Hypothetically. How would
Oh,
I know?
okay.
Right? There's lots of festivals everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of it will go through the Parks Department or possibly Department of Cultural Affairs, etc. And perhaps you could be a vendor at one of these events.
Mm-hmm.
You could be a certified vendor within the park, within the event. It's not like you can go up there and set up shop.
Right. No, it's not like a vendor's license. It's not like a New York City vendor's license. It's like, whenever they have the street fairs, you can get in there and then you could vend for the day.
Well,
at
it's
that
not
spot.
necessarily like a street fair, but inside the park, you have to have special permission to at least sell goods and services. So if you're selling,
So there's like a lot of opportunity
there's tons of
that people like really
Tons
don't
and
go
tons
after,
and tons.
right? Is it like really flooded though, and like is there really a lot of competition? So if I have T-shirts, right, and I want to go sell some T-shirts to the Army, there's probably 1 million people trying to do that, right? There's gonna be huge competition.
There
and
may
like,
be a lot of competition,
Mhm.
but if you have all your ducks in a row, as I would say, you have your business plan, you have your marketing, you know how to reach a certain agency, you can specifically target a certain agency, and you keep on doing it. Most importantly, you have to have funding behind you, because I would say at least 9 out of 10 jobs will require a lot of money up front.
Mhm.
It's not a walk in the park. You have to come in with some sort of money. And of course, you get paid depending on milestones or however the contract is.
That's
contrived.
interesting. There's always upfront money because, like in T-shirts, you usually, if you were going to do a custom job for somebody, you'd always get half down and then half upon completion. So then, why would you need money then if you were going to get half down and that would cover all the production costs? I like buying the shirts and whatnot, buying them wholesale. You know?
I think in these other scenarios,
Right.
you might not get half up front. Maybe you can, if you have a good attorney or a person working on your contracts, maybe you can get a contract structured that way. But still, if the government gives you 50% of the contract up front, but you need 75% to actually implement the full production, which includes travel and delivering on time, and
That's where it falls short. You need to be funded.
yes, you have to have some sort of line of credit with a bank.
So now, okay, so that's government procurement, right? But then there's regular corporate procurement as well, right?
Yes.
Private companies,
Corporate
right?
procurement is very hard. With government procurement, the government has to abide by rules and regulation laws.
And corporations don't have to do that.
Corporations, they do not have to abide by any law. Their law is the law.
Right.
So if they want to beat you down to 2 cents on the dollar where you're making half a cent profit, they could do that, and you cannot complain to anyone.
Wow.
You cannot cry to anyone.
Those
And
bastards. I would rather not do any procurement whatsoever, you know?
With the corporations.
With the corporations, yeah.
But with the government, there's lots of opportunities, Pickles.
Yeah?
You just have to play, just read the instructions, all the contracts. If the government issues a request for a quote, for example, if they know that they need T-shirts,
Mm-hmm.
they will issue what's called a request for a quote.
Okay.
And that's basically, they know what the shirts cost, and they just want you to give them a quote.
They want to see if you're on the up and up?
They just want a quote from you,
Oh, okay.
right? They say, okay, Pickles is asking $18 per T-shirt, but we know from our history that these T-shirts cost
$4.
$4. And the last contractor we purchased them from charged us $19. Perhaps we can reach out to the last contractor, or we can save $1 on a T-shirt and go to Pickles.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're buying 50,000, therefore we're saving $50,000. But Pickles is a new provider, and how do we know that he can
Deliver.
deliver as specified? That's the name of the game, my friend.
Pickles isn't impotent. Pickles is going to deliver.
How can you prove that? Does your
I've
track
got 18
record-
kids. Well, I guess there's different ways.
There is that skepticism over newer companies and
Right.
giving them larger contracts
Right.
because there isn't a track record which can show that they have that capacity to fulfill certain contracts.
What's the name of your website?
Head exposed.
Why is it head exposed? Why head? What is that? Is that an acronym or is like head like, well, that's like, the brains of,
No.
I thought it might be like a metaphor because
have-
of like government and like corporations.
Nah.
They're like the head. No?
Nah.
Okay.
We have 2 cartoon characters, the faces of Head exposed. The guy's name is Head. His right-hand man is Freddy the Frog.
Okay.
So it's Head and Freddy the Frog, so now it's Head exposed.
How did you come up with that? Just so now how are you going to help me as a business? I'm an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I have a business, whatever it is, and I want to go try to sell my goods to the government or to a corporation. Now, if I reach out to Head Exposed, how are you going to help me?
Well, the information is online for free. You have lots of free information.
So it's all laid out there for me.
It's lots of free information.
If I want to
out
do
there.
the research on it, I can just go to Head Exposed and I can find out everything I need to know.
You could do a lot of research on Head exposed,
Mhm.
and it's a start. It's not going to get you a contract because at the end of the day, it's your decision if you want to be a proficient business owner.
Of course.
And you're serious about it.
Yeah, when it
I'll-
comes down to success, I mean, it's all about the person who actually
you
owns
could
the
give
business.
everybody all the tools, but if they don't use it correctly,
Right.
forget about it.
That's right. Forget about it.
You know,
All right, so like you grew up in this neighborhood.
Mhm.
What's your background, if I may ask?
I was born in British Guyana, South America.
Oh, okay, so that's like the Jonestown Massacre?
Yes, Jonestown.
Happened there, right?
There you go. But I've been here since I was a little toddler.
But you were born there and you
Yes.
grew up here.
Okay, I was like 3 or 4 years old.
Awesome.
Hmm.
So, like, how did growing up in Corona, Queens shape your outlook on the world?
Forget about it. I'll tell you what. Growing up here, on this side of Corona was all Italian, and the other side of Corona was all Hispanic and Latin American, and of course, Guyana is part of Latin America.
That's right.
So it was interesting.
It's part of Latin America, Guyana.
Yes, it's on the coast.
I mean, it is. I know it's there, but it's just I don't know. I don't really know a lot about Guyana, to be honest with you.
it's a British colony on
Yep.
the northeast tip of South America. It's on top of Brazil, so it borders Brazil
Oh, okay.
to the north. It's part of the Amazon.
That's where they primarily speak is Spanish or like.
English.
they
So
speak
it's,
English
It's
there?
all English. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, that's
So-
interesting.
So it's the only English-speaking country in
It
South
is?
America. Yes.
How long were your parents there for? Like, did they immigrate there from somewhere else? Or
No,
they were there like
they were there.
generations?
Their parents were there. The highest waterfall in the world is in Guyana, by the way.
It is?
Oh yeah,
What's the name of the waterfall?
Kaichur Falls.
So that's way bigger than the falls up in Buffalo, whatever.
Twice as big or even more.
Really? Any crazy bastards gone over in a barrel?
A
over
barrel?
there? Yeah, you never heard of that?
Who
Huh?
does that?
People do it.
In a barrel?
They seal themselves up in barrels and they go over the falls.
For
Yeah.
what?
I don't know. See if they survive.
Who can survive that?
I don't know, but some people do. It's crazy, right? So wait, okay. So you got some topics here. 9 things you don't know about the procurement process that could land you to contract. Can you talk about that?
9 things. I could talk about 1,000 things that you don't know about the process, which could land you a contract. Again, there's a shady area here, Pickles.
Yes.
A lot of it is based on business development. And if you are not running a proficient business, you're not going to land anything.
Wow. Yeah. You have to have all your business ducks in a row first.
It's all about your business. 4 out of 5 businesses do not make it past 3 years in this day and age, especially in this city.
Have you ever sold anything to government or corporation?
If I
Have you personally sold anything to?
no,
No?
no.
Then why are you the expert on it? Sorry I have to ask the tough questions, but, you know.
I actually realized many times that as proficient as I thought I was, I still wasn't proficient enough, and I backed out on contracts because it's not easy. And sometimes you have to really, really study and prepare yourself for these things because it seems very easy. Oh, I'll get a contract. Oh, I'll milk Uncle Sam. Oh, we could sell these T-shirts to the Army. It's no big deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's lots of documentation involved, a lot of checks and balances. And if you are not prepared, you will get screwed.
Yeah.
And I thought I was prepared many times. Oh, I did.
In business, are you kind of like a shoot first, aim later kind of guy?
No,
You like plan a lot?
all I do is plan.
Really? Then at the same time, do you plan too much, and then do you not fire sometimes? Do you not like act on it when you should?
It's better to plan and not fire than to fire and not plan.
Really? I don't agree with that though.
In business,
With me, and I've been doing it for 4 years, a little over 4 years. I just started doing it, and then started figuring it out as I went.
You can start doing it and figure it out along the way. But when it comes to procurement,
You have to have everything.
don't sign a contract and you haven't read the pages.
That's crazy, man.
Because part of procurement is delivering a product at the right quantity, the right price, the right time, to the right, for example, the exact location,
Okay.
right? Now, location might not seem
It doesn't seem like a big
doesn't
deal.
seem like a big deal.
It seems to me like if you have your shit together and you take it seriously, that this wouldn't be a big problem for you. You know, like for me,
It wouldn't.
I don't
be
feel
it
it would.
wouldn't be a problem.
I do a lot of research and stuff like that. I'm pretty thorough. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, the only thing would be like you got to show all your financials or something like that.
Oh, you
and
have
all
to
this
show
other crap.
financials. You have to show them your like profit and loss, balance sheets, income statements. You have to show them that you've been profitable or you have a track record. Show them that you mean business. And if part of the contract is to deliver 50,000 T-shirts to the second floor of a warehouse in Kalamazoo,
Okay.
right? You're living in New York City. But if you didn't read that it's in Kalamazoo and if it's on the second floor, well, now you have to truck all those T-shirts all the way to Kalamazoo, and you have to have a low or access to a low or one of those machines, which will get it up to the second floor. And if you have all these pallets with your T-shirts,
And if you don't,
and
even
no
if you
machine,
get them there on the first floor and they're not on the second, then you haven't delivered it.
then you haven't delivered it, and
And
they
then
will
you're
have
fucked.
to say, Mr. Pickles,
Yes.
these T-shirts are not here. Where are they? And you can say they're on the first floor, but
It's a freaking nice day today, man. Right?
oh yeah, it's awesome.
Hell yeah. You going to the beach or anything like that? No?
I figured I'd have an Italian ice over there, the Lemon Ice King of Corona.
Yeah?
Yeah, we will have some.
What about
How's that?
spumoni? They got some spumoni over here?
Of course, they must
Yeah.
have.
They got it, right?
Good, forget about it. Yeah.
Dude, I love it.
There's a pizzeria behind you, one right there.
Yeah, it's everywhere around us.
Yes.
So out of 400,000 people on Staten Island,
Mhm.
200,000 claim Italian ancestry, right?
Yes. Yes.
Percentages. It's the most percentage.
Yes.
But actually, Queens has the most. Not percentage-wise, just like the
most Italians.
The most
Yes.
Italians, yeah.
Yes.
Most Italian Americans are Queens.
The reason why I say this probably was the largest concentration of Italians in America is because there's lots of buildings if we go a little bit more down here to the south.
Right.
And those buildings, of course, has lots of families. And when they immigrated, where would they go? To the buildings with their families.
It sucks that everything's breaking up, though, and they don't have that anymore, really, as much as they did before. You know?
In terms of,
Well, it's like, gentrification, everything
Yes.
like that. Everything's changing. All these
Yes.
neighborhoods are changing.
yes.
And there's not that traditional, like, whatever. They used to have those little enclaves of that particular ethnicity. It's not really like that anymore in a lot of areas in New York, you know? Don't you think that's like kind of a shame?
Not
Or do you
really.
think it's good?
I think it's good because I'm a businessman, and the reason why I bring that up is I love change. And you have to change and you have to adapt.
Right.
And change is good.
I think so,
Especially
too.
With a developer's mentality, and you think about, hey, you know what? We could knock that down, and we could just create 40 jobs by just putting
Knock
up
that
something
down.
else.
That's a part of the historical society, you son of a bitch.
The
You-
historical society. well, you know what?
you wanna-
It could be it could have some historical
Significance?
attributes to
Yes.
it, right?
Right?
But we're talking about creating jobs,
Yes.
creating jobs for actual people in the neighborhood.
That are living now,
Yeah, exactly.
not living in 1832.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And change is good, and these neighborhoods all change.
So you
and-
don't mind that, though. This is your neighborhood. This is your spot. You look around. You see all these buildings. These are the way the buildings were before. You don't care, though, that if they tear one down, they build another big-ass high-rise or some shit like that.
It's good because it's commerce. You put up a high rise, that's commerce. That's going to bring more taxpayers.
Yeah.
It's going to bring more entrepreneurs to the area.
Would you say you're liberal-minded or conservative? You are.
Very.
Yeah, me too, man.
Yeah.
And that's like the definition. You look up in the dictionary, like the actual definition of liberal is open to change, open-minded.
Yes.
You know, I think that's good.
I'm all about, the overall scenario.
You ever been to Staten Island?
All the time.
It sucks, man.
Do you live in Staten Island?
I do live in Staten Island.
Oh, you do?
But I live in a shitty neighborhood. Do you know where Jersey Street is?
No.
Oh, my God. Well, it's good. It's
But
good.
I'll tell you
what.
what.
I like the South Shore area, all that stuff.
You did?
That's good. But where I'm at, I'm like the opposite side.
Have you been to Goodfellas?
The barbershop?
No, Goodfellas, the pizzeria.
No, I haven't. There's a Goodfellas barbershop that I
Is it?
went to.
Yeah.
There's Goodfellas Pizzeria. That's
Oh,
good.
yeah.
That's
It's
good.
in Staten Island. They
Yeah?
sell pies.
Yeah.
I haven't had it. Once I went in for a slice of pizza with my cowboy hat on and things. And no, it was no mohawk, but,
You're crazy, man. That's awesome. That's good. It's a good way to be.
But unfortunately, I couldn't get to have a great Staten Island slice.
No?
Because they make pies
Yeah?
at Goodfellas Pizza.
The reason why I brought that up is, as far as change goes and stuff, there's so much change that needs to happen to that freaking borough because it's the worst, man. It's so cut off from everywhere else, I feel, And, God, they can make it so great, especially that area where I live that's right around, like, the Staten Island Ferry,
Okay.
which just so happens to be, like, the shittiest area of the
Really?
whole place. Yeah, which makes no sense on paper. You would think that the place that's right next to the ferry
Would it have like a Starbucks?
would be the night. Yeah, all these tourists. It's so crazy. Like all these tourists all day long, especially during the summertime.
Really?
You see them come. They go on the ferry. They go across so they can see the Statue of Liberty. They turn directly around. They get right back on the other ferry, going back to Manhattan. There's no spots like shops or commerce or anything like
To
that.
buy T-shirts.
To buy T-shirts.
Bobby Pickles T-shirts.
Bobby Pickles T-shirts, right? They don't do anything like that.
I just gave you a great idea.
But I'm just saying though, like a lot of areas in New York are a little ass backwards where it comes to like, they could really change it up and make it awesome. Mm-hmm. And with Staten Island at the forefront of that, I just feel like they should eminent domain that whole area, knock everything down, and just build high rises.
If you would know a developer and you have access to money and you speak to your city council person and your other local governmental, your local senator, and you push for something like that.
So you can really get into politics through procurement and stuff like that, right?
Oh, of course.
It could be like a road to politics.
Oh, of course.
Which is what I'm going to do.
Why not?
I'll eventually get into politics, New York State politics.
Yeah, your story might be I
will.
sold 50,000 T-shirts to the troops.
That's what started me out.
Pickles T-shirts. Hey, aren't you the guy who sold the T-shirts to the army? The Pickles T-shirts?
I thought, yes. All my paperwork went through without a hitch,
Yes.
and I sold it. I was able to deliver it to the second floor.
Exactly.
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo, yes.
Yeah. What helped you get to where you're at? Education at all?
You have to continually educate yourself if you're going to be successful in anything in life. It's very competitive.
I have a degree from the University of Florida, right? Which is a decent school.
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's the best one in Florida. You know, I mean, I don't know what that's really saying because educational institutions are way superior in the Northeast from the South. Anyway, shit is getting watered down, man. I feel like it doesn't even matter really if you have a degree or not anymore. People don't like hire you based on your degree. They have so many like that University of Phoenix and all these online degrees. I feel like those really, the for-profit education systems kind of waters down like the traditional brick and mortar school. You go to like a real college, right? Like where'd you go? You went to Queens College, right?
I went to Queens College.
Right.
I studied
a real
in Baruch.
brick and mortar school.
Big campus.
A lot of places don't do that though. Like all these people nowadays that go online and stuff. I just don't feel like that really educates you as much as a real school does.
I haven't had any experience with the online schooling, so I don't know how they do their.
Like the internet is coming about right now. You can self-educate.
Of course.
You know?
And I'm a big proponent of that.
That's really
everything is for free. You can go and Google anything. How to make Bobby Pickles T-shirts.
Yeah, you're not going to find that.
Haven't you written a blog about it already?
No.
You should.
Why? So somebody could steal it?
Hey,
when it comes down to it, you can read all you want, but to learn everything, you just have to immerse yourself in it, really.
Basically.
And it takes years.
It takes years, but you have to do it because the competition is fierce.
Yeah.
There's
like if you want to talk about T-shirts as like a metaphor for this or whatever.
Yes.
Like I got into it. Didn't know what I was doing at first. Didn't know how to screen print. Didn't know how to do graphic design or anything like that.
But now you do.
Now I do.
There you go.
Got to learn
That's
everything.
the entrepreneur in you,
That's right.
you know?
And so, like, that's what you're talking about, right? Like, anything you do,
Anything you do, you have to continually educate yourself and
learn all aspects of it.
progressively move forward, as I would say. And it takes constant education. Marketing changes, graphics changes, Photoshop changes,
Right,
you know.
CS6, 7, 8,
CS
9. They always
four
coming
is
out with a
different
new.
from CS5,
Right.
from CS6.
You got to stay up on that stuff, like whatever new tools they developed or anything
Exactly.
like that, right?
And, of course, the more you know, the more efficient you become, the more effective you become.
Yeah, and it makes you be able to, go past your competition
Of
or
course,
whatever.
you could move ahead, and the more effective you become.
Because those stupid bastards didn't put in all the time and energy learning all this shit like I did.
Exactly, and no one can take away your education. And fundamental business principles, Bobby, do not change no matter what business you get involved with, even with the procurement process. A request or proposal, RFP, is going to be exactly the same for rocket ships as it's going to be for rock and roll microphones. How's that?
Okay, microphones. Yeah, I understand
It
that.
would be the same. It's the same sort of contract with the same fundamental principles behind them.
Right, and then the same kind of thing, like,
And-
show your documents or whatever.
And
You
the
guys
same thing with business. Spreadsheets do not change. Formats of balance sheets do not change. Profit and losses do not change. Income statements, the numbers change, but the formats are always going to be the same, no matter what business you're in.
You know one thing, my mom, she worked for Raytheon. Do you know what Raytheon is?
Raytheon,
Yeah.
no
It's
clue.
a defense contractor. They make bombs and stuff. They make like
Oh.
missiles.
Oh.
They develop stuff for they're like Honeywell or any of that stuff.
That right there, my friend, is the best business to be in.
It just dawned on me. That whole business model is just procurement,
Yeah.
right?
The Department of
The
Defense.
entire business is devoted to procurement.
Mhm.
They just go to do contracts and stuff like that.
Yes.
And they try to get contracts to build bombs or
Yep.
missiles or any shit like that.
The budget for the Department of
There's a
Defense.
private company that does that.
I think the budget for the Department of Defense this year alone is, I don't know, maybe $640 billion. 2 years ago, it might have been $660 billion. So think about it.
All that money. Yeah.
A lot of bombs you can make, Bobby.
Yeah.
I don't know about T-shirts anymore. It's a lot of guns.
But they'll
you
buy
can make.
anything, though. Yeah, they'll buy anything. You need army shirts.
Yes.
You got all those guys out there. They need army shirts.
They need socks.
But see, who does it now, though? The person who's doing it now probably always gets the contract every year, I'd imagine.
Not necessarily, because it's not just the
They don't
army
buy
that
socks
does.
from China like everybody else.
But who is the person importing it? Which is the company selling it to the U.S. government? Chinese companies do not have the ability to sell to the U.S. government. You have to be a U.S.-based company.
So essentially, though, you can set up and then do the import-export business.
You
So
can exactly. You could do just import-export.
isn't that stupid on the government's part, though? Couldn't they cut out the middleman and go right directly to the source, China, and be like, let's get, you know?
Well, someone has to be accountable. And
Okay.
A U.S.-based company is usually
Because
by law.
if the government went directly to China and then China fucked them over on socks, then we'd start a war with China.
We'll have a lot of socks-less soldiers. How's that?
Drop a nuke on them because they fucked us over for 10,000 socks. Right?
Yes. But in a sense, you're correct. You can start a company doing import-export, sell directly to the government if you follow the rules, the regulations, and if you have a proficient business.
Mm-hmm.
You can sell just about anything you want. Those soldiers also wear underwear. They wear T-shirts, right?
Right. They wear boots.
Boots,
All that stuff.
Right.
And it all has
Pants
to come from somewhere.
jackets,
Right.
and thermals, things like that. And
Yeah.
That's just for the soldiers. And that's just for the soldiers, Pickles, in the U.S. Army. How about the U.S. Navy? How about the Marines? How about the Air Force? How about the
Coast Guard.
Coast Guard? How about the National Guard for every state? There's how many states in the United States? Like 62, I think it was.
And all kinds of other things like the NDA, the national whatever. Those guys who are...
They all, the local police.
What do you think about that, the NDA?
NDA.
Dropping, those guys that are listening to our conversations, reading our emails. Have you read about that lately?
That's always been going
What is it,
on.
NSA? Oh, I'm sorry, NSA.
NSA.
I was thinking the NDAA, the National Defense
NSA.
Authorization Act. But,
Another bullshit act.
which is another bullshit act. But the NSA. Yeah. God,
Hey,
that's crazy.
The way I see it, Pickles,
What?
if you are not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about.
Oh, my God. Yeah, don't do anything wrong ever in your entire life then, I guess.
Well,
I just don't want anybody to be able to read all my stuff anyway. Maybe you're right.
hold
though,
on
I
one
guess.
second. What sort of phone do you have, Pickles?
I got an iPhone.
Don't you think that they're monitoring everything? Apple has collected information.
Yeah, but do you think that's really? I mean, you don't mind that at all?
Apple is the biggest offender of it.
Apple has collected everything that you have sent in the last 24 hours, possibly.
Right, but they have. But what do you think that's cool though? I mean,
Can you stop them?
I'm not talking about that. I'm saying you're cool with that. You're all right with that? That somebody else out there is... See, the whole thing with that, the NSA thing, isn't that the government is looking at your stuff.
Okay.
It's the fact that they had, like... You don't have to do anything to work for the NSA. Like, they hire people that, like, don't even have an education or anything. You have, like, high school dropout or something like that. And they hire you. Regular people who haven't passed any kind of thing have access to, like, your stuff. And they could use that shit against you, you know? And
They could use it against you for what?
I don't know. Some way to like.
Are you a criminal?
Yeah.
Are you hiding something?
Of course. Aren't we all? I mean, I totally smoke weed all the time. I'll say it right now. I don't even care.
Okay.
I believe in the legalization of marijuana.
I believe so too.
You do?
Oh yes.
Like y'all shake your hand right now. Can you admit on the radio that you partake in this thing?
I don't.
You don't, but you do support the.
I would support it.
Okay, yeah. Because it's obviously way less. It's not as bad as like even drinking, right? I mean, drinking leads to so many deaths and everything like that, and
Yes.
there's all these other things that are
Well,
way worse.
I'm-
drugs.
I'm just thinking about the amount of money the government can make off of it.
Oh man, talk about procurement.
Exactly.
Whenever they do pass that, right?
Yes.
They want some legal grade, or they want to purchase some marijuana for
the
somebody
army.
for the army
For the army.
to help with post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yes.
They can
And-
come to you, the farmer.
Yes.
Or you could go to them, actually. You go to them.
go
You have
to
to
them.
show your supporting documents
Yes.
that you're a legitimate business
Yes.
and that you can deliver that amount on that day.
Well, just so you know,
What?
Pickles, the Department of Veteran Services,
Yes.
they are different from the Army, and their budget alone, I think this year probably might be $200 billion.
And that covers everything.
That's a lot of disabled
That's
veterans,
That's
my friend.
every veteran from every branch.
A lot of disabled veterans looking for your
Yeah, for my
product.
product.
As a farmer.
The Bobby Pickles pot product.
Yes.
Yes, I will do that.
Say that 3 times fast.
Maybe that will help me get into politics later.
No,
What did we learn today on this little podcast talking about business
hey,
procurement?
There's lots of information out there to help you get a government contract. You have to be very serious about it, Pickles. The opportunity is there, and it's more of a level playing field than people think.
But women and minorities have kind of like an upper hand, though, or whatever. Or they like look more favorably.
There are set-asides for them, and that's just because it's part of the law. Certain contracts have to go to them.
Affirmative action.
Yes, and that's good.
You think so?
I'm sorry?
No. You think so? That is good, right?
It levels the playing field and, again, gives you an opportunity as a minority business. You're a minority because your business is smaller than the major business.
Okay. Yeah.
So, for example,
They would actually give you a shot.
yeah, because the major business, which was selling the T-shirt for $19, right? Now they can look at a smaller business. In your case,
And we're doing it for 18.
you're doing it for 18.
Right.
In that sense, you are the minority, right?
Right.
And they would give you the level of the doubt and say, hey, you know what? Pickles, pot, T-shirts.
The bottom line is this. If I'm an entrepreneur
Yes.
and I'm interested in this kind of stuff, I want to try to market my products to more than just what I'm marketing it to.
Mhm.
I want to market it to government, other corporations. What should I do?
Just work on your business plan. Make sure that you have a proficient business. You understand your financials. Get certified with the government agencies. Lots of different agencies ask for certain certifications. For example, one of the main things is you have to be inside the government system. And to get paid by the government, you have to be a part of the CCR, is called Central Contractor Registration.
Mm-hmm.
So once you're within that, it's a way of the government pays the businesses. So you should be registered with that. You should have a DUNS number, which is with Dun & Bradstreet,
Mm-hmm.
which is an information company. And You have your DUNS number, you're registered with your state, you're a company in good standing, you're registered here. For example, New York City certifies businesses. In order to get New York City contracts, for the most part, you have to be certified, and that's the way the city has your information.
I wasn't even aware of that.
Yes, so you can be certified in New York City as a locally based business.
Like me, I'm actually incorporated in Florida, because you
Florida.
incorporate in different states. But then you could do business in whatever state you're in,
Yes.
Just for, like, tax reasons or whatever. You can, like, one of the best places to incorporate, I guess, is
Delaware.
right? But even though I was incorporated in Delaware or whatever, and I want to do business in New York, and I wanted to go after some of these contracts, I'd have to go get certified in the state of New York, like you were talking about?
I would think that you have to be certified if you want to do business in New York City. And also, if you're looking to do business in New York City, you still will pay taxes. And you
Right.
have to have some sort of business entity in New York if you're going to do business in
Of
New
course. Of course you'd pay taxes. Of course. Forget about it. Just
but-
like all these guys around here. They all pay their taxes, right?
Yes.
we know that.
We know that. Bobby, you have to be serious about your business. There's lots of money out there. City, state, and federal, there is tons and tons of money out there. Everyone is buying goods and services, from the New York City Police Department to the state police department, the state troopers to the federal troopers. There's lots of different agencies. Everyone's buying.
I know.
goods and
I
services.
am kind of like, I joke and stuff like that. And, I'm not so serious sometimes. But when it comes to business, I am serious. And
Awesome.
by talking to you, it lit a fire under my ass today.
You-
Because you're right. There is so much opportunity out there where I could sell T-shirts.
You can just sell
I-
T-shirts.
I could sell the fuck out of some T-shirts. All
You can
these
sell
government
T-shirts.
motherfuckers.
You can sell T-shirts. Imagine selling socks, man. Just socks, and there's 200,000 troops overseas, right?
Yeah.
And the government is buying socks every 6 months for those troops.
Right.
And each person overseas, they're buying 10 pairs every 6 months. Think about it.
It's a lot of money.
Say if you just sell to 5,000
No, you got to start somewhere.
every 6 months, you're
Police departments, like you were saying, everything. MTA.
MTA has their own police department.
So you got to do your research. You got to find out who are the gatekeepers.
You have to.
Who are
find
the
out.
people that deal with this? They buy the merchandise. Get in front of them somehow.
It's easy. Everything is online. You can find lots of information online.
And so, okay, and we start out. We'll go to headexposed.com, right? HEADEXPOSED.com. And then you'll have all that information on there.
Lots of.
And that's where you can start out.
It's a good starting point. No one is going to give you a contract. You have to work for it. You have to be very serious about it.
You have to be persistent.
You have to be very persistent, and you have to know your capability, because there's lots of games. I'm not saying lots of games within government procurement, but I know there's lots of games within corporation procurement, and you have to be able to play it, because guys might hire you knowing that you're going to fail, but they will also know that you can lay the infrastructure and they can save money
I know.
and use you. Because if you deliver those socks to the first floor, all they have to do is put it to the second floor. But they can cut your contract by 20% just because you could not
Get it up there to
get
that
it
second
up
floor.
that second floor.
Wow. A lot to think about.
As long as you can fulfill that contract as specified, you can make the money. But it takes a lot of preparation, and you have to be serious, because
So read over the contract first and make sure you can deliver.
read over everything.
Don't just get excited that you're getting it and just go, okay, yeah, awesome. I'll do it. Make sure you read all those,
You read everything.
all the fine print.
Well, before you get it, you have to have everything in order.
Yeah.
Because the government will not give a contract to someone who's unprepared and unreliable.
They won't do like what corporations might do just to get the infrastructure laid out and stuff.
Corporations will do.
We'll
things
do that.
like
They'll do stuff like that.
because they're about
Making
saving money.
And that's smart, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
for the
smart on the corporation part. It
For
is.
the entrepreneur, the
No.
person doesn't know what they're doing and they want to get involved, and they think it's a walk in the park.
It reminds me of that Bidding Wars. You ever like watch that reality show? Where
I don't watch TV.
you don't watch TV?
Pickles, I'm
You're like me.
sorry.
I don't watch TV either.
So
I don't. I have like no TV in the house, no cable.
Awesome. Yeah, it's distracting and it's a lot.
I just
of-
think about business all the time. Honestly,
That's what. Oh man, you make me proud, man.
that's all I
You know,
do.
that's-
That's
you make me
all
proud.
I do.
You know, you said your mom works for a defense company, and I'll tell you,
She did. She was actually the first female executive.
really,
Yeah.
Tell your mom I'm proud of her. How's that? So she knows a little bit about these Department of Defense.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do too. It didn't really dawn on me till just now.
Mm-hmm.
I always knew defense contracting was contracting with the government in order to build defense things or whatever, like bombs and stuff like that. But basically, the whole entire premise of the business, the whole entire business model is just one company, and all they do is procurement.
Exactly.
That's it.
Boeing makes $20 billion a year. Lockheed Martin makes, $25 billion.
Exactly.
The company your mom probably works for.
Raytheon, they're a big player. They're just like those guys.
Yeah, they're probably doing the same thing. That's a lot of money. Company making $20 billion a year or even $1 billion.
Yeah.
Imagine making just
a couple 100,000.
0.05% of $100 million is a lot of money.
Well, Nelson, Nigel, thank you so much for being over here today. I really appreciate you meeting me and talking to me about this. It was eye-opening. And like I said, this is gonna make me genuinely go after some different business that I wasn't thinking about going after before.
There's lots of opportunities.
Yeah.
Again, pencils to pots and pans.
It's a pot.
It's a pot, yes.
In the future.
To Pickles pot.
Yes. In the near future, that will be a true statement. For the Bobby Pickles podcast from Spaghetti Park in Corona, Queens, I'm Bobby Pickles.
1, 2, 3. FatEnzo.com. 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 FatEnzo.com.